Whew. All right, guys. Well, we got an exciting video today. I'm excited to share some news with you guys. In this box that you guys are on top of right now is 36 pounds of a bunch of kayak accessories that I will be throwing on the new Bonafide PWR. And with that, let's jump into it. So like I said, this box right here is about 36 pounds and full of kayak accessories. This is something that I kind of hinted a couple months back, but needed to wait until the time was right to announce it. But I'm excited to share that I'm teaming up with YakAttack for the 2025 season. So in this box, we got a bunch of stuff that's gonna be, again, going on our Bonafide PWR 129, a lot of stuff that we need to continue the process of putting our electronics on it, our motor, and then just getting everything pretty much dialed. So let's get ready for a fun unboxing today. And yeah, as you guys can see here, we got a pretty hefty package, but you know, this also contains a lot of larger item things that will be going on this kayak as well. There's a lot of these things that I actually already have, but you know, wanted to maybe try out different variations of it. So right here, let's get this out of the way. There we go, right there, full box of orange goodness. So bunch of things that I felt like I was gonna need for this build, and you know, there's gonna be some other stuff that you know, I might experiment on but may not use, but wanted it anyways just in case. Again, you know, everything that's gonna be going on in this kayak, it's gonna be stuff that I'm only gonna use pretty much every time on the water, and a lot of this stuff is it. So we got a whole bunch of stuff in here. One thing that I do miss with my last kayak is just having cup holders. This doesn't have a place for a cup holder, so we got one of their YakAttack multi-mount cup holders right here. Can't go wrong with that. Really just needed something that I could put my Monster, my coffee, or anything like that in, and so that it doesn't spill in the kayak. You know, in the last video, we installed our mega accessory plates, and I mentioned that it doesn't have rails, so we got a good selection of different tracks, and I think there's a few more in here somewhere, but some tracks so that we can mount our accessories on. So I decided to go with the Gridlock XLs just because I wanted to have a wider space and more ways to bolt it down for rigidity. So I decided to go with this. I kind of wanted the color scheme to be pretty cohesive, so that's why I went with the Gridlock XL. The black will match obviously with the black that's on there and won't stand out too much. One of the next things that I really needed was a way to run my wiring through all these power link plates that are through this Bonafide kayak. So we got a bunch of their through hole wiring kits, got the XL and just their normal size. So we're gonna be able to run our wiring through there, make sure that it is pretty much watertight. We're not gonna get water in it, but also clean it up as well. So we got a bunch of these that we're gonna use definitely throughout. Next up, we have our throttle mount. So this is their updated throttle mount that can be used with obviously Torpedo, which I'm running, but you can also use it on Newport as well. So it has a different base that you mount your throttle to. Definitely need this. You know, one thing I'll probably do is take off the extension just to keep it a little bit lower, but definitely need this in order to mount our motor on the kayak. For those of you that have been following me for a while, you'll know that I personally like to mount a graph right next to my seat. It's just something that I like to do because I use my graphs a lot. Not obviously just for like front-facing sonar or anything like that. I use a lot of waypoints, I do a lot of map scanning, so I have multiple map chips to analyze the body of water, see what the contours are like, and all those type of things is something that I constantly do. So we have the rectangular fish finder mount that's gonna hold my new graph on, and that is gonna be easily just mounted right here, quick release. If I need to take it off and leave this thing in the parking lot or at a campsite, whatever it is, I can easily just remove the base and pull this baby off. So right there, that's gonna be used on our new graph. Now, since we have a kayak without a drive, I'm gonna have to bring a full-size paddle with me now. So we got a double header right here. So I'm gonna play around if I wanna do that, or maybe utilize just the rotor grips themselves, but we got a double header that we're gonna mount obviously somewhere so that we can hold our paddle, keep it out of the way, and obviously when we need it, we can easily get it and utilize it whenever we need to. Just in case I need a sturdier track somewhere, I ended up getting one of their gear tracks just in case it's their aluminum version, so it's a lot sturdier and durable, but hopefully I won't need this, but wanted to make sure I had it just in case. Now, something that's totally new to me with this platform is that there's a lot of scupper holes in this thing, and it does not come with scupper plugs. So we got some YakAttack scupper plugs, small, medium. This should be the right size to fit in this thing, just to make sure that water is not coming into the kayak. That is one thing I do want to make sure, especially going to places like Clear Lake, where for those of you that are from that area who have been there, going to redbud and all the green algae and stuff, I don't want that getting everywhere on my feet and everything. So we got some of these scupper plugs that will be installed on the kayak as well. One thing that us kayak anglers can never have enough of is cam straps. So I think there's a few more, but this is what I'm going to be using to mount my black pack to the kayak. I like to leave it on there at all times. Again, it's one last thing to set up in the parking lot. All I have to do is grab my rods, throw it in the tether tubes, call it good, ready to launch. So I got some of these. This is mainly what that's gonna be for. With those cam straps, we need something to obviously strap them down to so that it stays with the kayak, and that's the vertical tie down. So I actually have some installed on the kayak already, which I'll update you guys what I've kind of done to the kayak in a second, but definitely needed these so that we can make sure that black pack doesn't go away. Up next, we have the lock and load heavy duty mount. This is going to be used with that rectangular fish finder mount, just a heavier base so that there's no chance of it coming loose. One thing that I like to do is if I'm making a short drive to the boat ramp or anything, I pretty much leave my graphs on. So this is something that is going to be needed to make sure that obviously nothing happens on the road. For those of you that watched my championship video, you'll know that I've been running the YakAttack leaderboard since the fall, and this is our new color at overcast gray. So I needed a way to mount this at a kayak that's convenient and accessible. Now this one, compared to my pro angler, I used to be able to just throw it right here on the side. I wanted it somewhere convenient that was obviously safe and wasn't gonna fall out if I run in big water. So we got the leaderboard rotor grip. So this is something that I'm gonna have to find a place to mount it. Maybe something that I might mount on the side so it's right here and out of the way. But I do want it to be accessible. If I need it, I can grab it real quick, and obviously it's not gonna fall out of the kayak. So right there, we got the leaderboard rotor grip. One thing that's always needed on these kayaks is a good high visibility flag, but also for the tournaments, having that 360 light. So we got the VZ Carbon Pro for this kayak. This one's gonna be dedicated to this one. And I do have my old one, which I'll use as a backup, bring with me just in case someone breaks theirs, their light doesn't work, or they just forgot it at home. So it's gonna be nice to have this and also a backup just in case myself or anybody else needs it. All right, what else we got in here? So we got some tie down eyelets right there. So I'm gonna use this to route my cording for my motor from the steering, the lift assist, or the reverse lock. So right there, we got two of them just in case I need them. We got a rotor grip snapping strap right here. So I do have some other rotor grips, but just in case I need to be able to strap something down, like I usually put my net on the front, and when we're running in big water, well, it doesn't like to stay there. So having that would be nice just in case. Let's get this big one out of here. So 16 by 16 Black Pack Pro, went with the black color. Thought about the gray color for this kayak, but decided that I didn't want to have that much gray. So we got their normal black color right here. Yes, I'm going to be running 16 by 16 on this thing. I also have, which you guys can't see in this top corner, I do have my original 16 by 16 Black Pack that I've been using for the last year. But I got another one because I wanted to switch it up and kind of have a little bit of diversity depending on what I'm doing. So this one, I'll be actually running their short stack on this. So one thing that I mentioned in the last video is that this kayak doesn't have, you know, a good storage space that's dry and out of the way. You know, I took the pod off obviously, but I want places to be able to put my keys, you know, my wallet, stuff like that. So the short stack is really what that's gonna be for on the water. I can throw my scale in it and all those type of things, and basically just have a dry enclosed case that I can tuck my stuff in, not have to worry about anything falling in my pocket or just having a yard sale throughout the kayak. Along with that, I wanted to add their mesh storage bag. So this goes actually inside the Black Pack. Usually people put it on underneath the lid. So that's what I'm gonna be using this for. And again, another place that I can just tuck away things. Maybe I could put some spare line spools, you know, scent, those type of things. So I got one of those, which I'm excited to utilize to be a little more organized. Then we got some horizontal tie downs. Still gonna figure out where exactly I'm gonna utilize this. I thought about where my battery is that's gonna sit behind the seat since it has a track system to strap it down. May use it for that, but you know, I may also use it anywhere else, but wanted to have options. Obviously I had vertical tie downs, wanted to have some horizontal in case I might find a situation where this is gonna be better. And those of you that have been following me for a while, you'll know that when I pre-fish, I bring a lot of rods, so I did get some extra tether tubes to mount to the black pack. You know, I'm hoping that, again, I don't need to bring 11 rods, and that's what my other black pack is set up for. It can hold 11 rods on there, but I decided to get some extra. Obviously, with the short stack, having the rods behind it is a little more difficult, but I think we're gonna find a unique way so that we can do rods obviously on the side, maybe extend them out a little bit. So got some more rod holders, the tether tubes just in case. Whew. All right, well, that is all the accessories that I got from YakAttack to put on this kayak. I'm hoping I don't have to use every one of them, but I have them just in case. Again, this is a whole new platform for me, so there's gonna be a lot of changing things down the line, the way I rig it out. If I like the layout, might change it, whatever it is. You know, I wanted to have the option, so we got all this stuff. Big shout out to YakAttack for getting all this to me quickly so that I can make sure I can continue this build. I'm super excited to partner up with them, and there's gonna be a lot of fun things coming down the line with them. YakAttack is currently cooking up some new things for 2025 in their product line, and when the time comes, I'm gonna be excited to share it with you guys first. But with that, I think it's time to get a lot of the accessories out of their original packaging and start mocking things up on this kayak so that we can continue moving on with this build. All right guys, so after a little bit of time, I think we got everything installed that we needed to for today. So right behind me, we got a little bit of some of those YakAttack accessories installed. Let me walk you guys through what's on it. All right, so let's start from bow and then work our way to the stern. So up here on our catch crossbar, we do have a roto grip that I will put my net on. And something I never did before when I wanted to do this here was add the snap-in strap. So when it does get pretty rowdy on the water, I want to make sure my net stays in place. Just do that, and even just traveling across the parking lot and stuff, I can make sure my net doesn't fall out. Then as we get into the cockpit, we do have our scupper plugs all inside. So we got 6 of them. I realized that there was 2 actually that I needed for back there, so that will be added at a later date. On this side of the kayak, I just do the double header here. I still got to figure out exactly where I'm going to put it. A lot of this stuff is going to end up being moved places and swapped around, but for now, we're just doing this right here. Next to it, we have our HD Mighty Mount base, and then our rectangular fish finder mount. Again, this is gonna mount my graph. It's gonna be right at the perfect spot for me to use at all times. Then on our mega accessory plates, we did add those grid lock Mighty Mount tracks right down the side. And on this side specifically, I added the leaderboard roto grips right here, so I can easily pop out and then also put in my leaderboard. It's pretty sturdy, it shouldn't go anywhere. It'll be a perfect place to keep it on the water. And obviously I have a lot of track, and I spaced them out a little bit more just so it felt pretty stable. But nice thing is, if something does happen, it's gonna pop into the kayak instead of the outside. So that's the way I had it set up right there. Then on the right side of the kayak, I have a little bit longer track here. I put the cup holder right here. You guys saw my little B-rolls on the other side. And again, like I said, things are gonna be moved around. So I got it right here. And then the torpedo throttle mount right here. So later I'll obviously add the throttle to it. But like I said, when I unbox it, I usually take the extension off and then have this sit a little bit lower so that when I'm sitting in the seat, my elbow doesn't like accidentally bump into the throttle. So I have that sitting a little bit more low profile. Then behind the seat, we have our 16 by 16 Black Pack Pro with the short stack on top. Then as you open this, you do have some space up top to separate from your tackle boxes that I will be putting underneath. And then I also added this mesh bag right here so I can throw just stuff that I don't want to rattle around in there. And that's what that's going to be used for, but plenty of space to throw extra stuff, probably like my scale, line, stuff like that. And then of course inside, typical storage from the Black Pack, be able to put my tackle boxes, 3700s right on in there. On both sides, I do have 4 rod holders, and as I showed you guys earlier, it does not interfere with opening and closing the lid. What I like to do is actually get these hooks and hook them down to the side so they're not in the way. And that's what I'll do with everything else, just in case. Then you'll also notice on all four corners, I do have the cam straps tied down to the vertical tie downs. So this thing is not gonna go anywhere. I mean, I can shake this whole stand pretty much. I really prefer this because it's one less thing to set up in the morning. I end up taking all the bungees off and just utilize this instead. And then at a later date, I will put my Torpedo battery in here with the horizontal tie down right down there on the floor. At the stern, we do have our VisiCarbon Pro, our high visibility flag, and also 360 light as well. So easily can just set it up right here. I usually like it somewhere in the center, but because of the power pole and everything, it's probably gonna just stay right here. Can easily fold down and just tuck away when I don't need it. But of course, we want to run these high visibility flags so we can be seen on the water. And finally, in preparation to install our torpedo motor soon, I have some vertical tie downs on both sides and also the tie down eyelet. So I'm still figuring out exactly how I'm gonna run all my wiring for my lift, my reverse lock, and also my foot control steering. So I played around and got these all mounted up in places where I feel like I'm gonna use them. And again, it's duplicated on both sides as well. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be an update on our brand new Bonafide PWR 129. All this stuff was crucial so that we can get started on installing things like our motor and also our electronics. So if that interests you, consider subscribing. As always, I appreciate you guys for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.